We stand before the canvas of creation, searching for the edges of the world, where I end and the universe begins. But we are mistaken. The masters of wisdom spoke of a singular breath, a Wahdat al-Wujud, a unity of being. You search for the truth as if it were a distant treasure, but consider the paradox. You are not the drop struggling against al-Wujud, a unities of the sea. The multiplicity of this world is merely the dance of the one. Each entity is own beauty, is not a journey across the earth, is merely the dance of the one.
Most of us walk through life constantly looking for the edges. We map out the borders that define where our internal self ends and where the external universe begins. We are taught to see existence as a collection of discrete, isolated parts. We move through a chaotic physical space, navigating around other objects and people as if we are completely disconnected from them. Because of this perspective, we often feel small. We see ourselves as single drops struggling against a vast, indifferent sea, searching for meaning as if it were a distant, buried treasure we have to fight to uncover. But this deep sense of human alienation comes from a specific assumption, the unquestioned belief that the observer and the observed are strictly separate. Those boundaries might be an illusion. For centuries, historical mystics have pointed out the artificial nature of these borders, arguing instead for a reality connected by a single breath. The most evocative articulation of this idea comes from the 13th century poet Jalal al-Din Rumi, who offered a radically different way to experience existence. He grounded his work in the concept of Wahdat al-Wujud, the unity of being. He didn't treat this as cold academic theory. He argued that existence is, quite literally, a single, indivisible ocean of reality. If the cosmos is a breathing, conscious entity, then the divide between the I and the other is entirely fabricated. A moment of wonder. This presents an obvious logical problem. If existence is one continuous ocean, how do we explain the massive variety of life forms, objects, and experiences we encounter every day? We are constantly surrounded by extreme contrasts. We experience light and shadow, joy and sorrow, chaotic storms and calm dunes. It is hard to reconcile these opposites with a singular source. Rumi suggests the pain of this paradox is what drives human yearning. He compares our search for meaning to a reed flute, or ney, crying out in sorrow because it remembers being torn from its original reedbed. But the sheer multitude of the world doesn't predict unity. It is a visual mystery we can solve by looking at how reality manifests. Rumi explains this through a mechanism called Tajalli, or divine self-disclosure, showing exactly how a singular reality can generate a pluralistic world. This animation illustrates the core analogy. Absolute light source at the center. Its rays travel outward, striking distinct geometric shapes that scatter the light. As shapes morph and reflections shift, the central light remains constant, proving infinite diversity originates from one unchanging origin. This means the multiplicity we observe is real in its physical appearance, but not real in its true essence. It is merely the diffraction of a single light. Every diverse entity you encounter is simply a mask the divine wears to witness its own beauty. The sheer variety of the world is merely the dance of the one experiencing itself. Brought back down to the scale of our own lives, it reframes the individual ego. The self is merely a perceptual veil, created by our limited understanding of time and space. This perspective suggests that the entirety of existence isn't scattered across the universe, but is present within the smallest possible unit. It is the idea that the complete architecture of the ocean is mirrored perfectly within the structure of a single part. This leads to Rumi's most famous observation about our place in the world. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean, distilled into a single fleeting drop. Understanding this removes the need for an external journey to find truth. There is no distance left to travel, because the I that was searching has collapsed. When the illusion of separation is finally destroyed, the seeker and all that remains is the source, reflecting forever within itself.